2026, Tibetans throughout the world will gather to commemorate the 67th anniversary of the Tibetan national uprising against the brutal occupation of their country and pay tribute to the more than 1 million Tibetans who lost their lives in their struggle for their freedom of Tibet. Whereas the occupation and ongoing suppression of human rights and freedom in Tibet and the intentional marginalization of Tibetan language, culture, and identity should continue to be a concern for all freedom-loving people everywhere. And whereas on March 25th, 2025, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom released its annual report in which it noted that Chinese officials persisted in restricting religious activities of the Tibetan Buddhists, including incidences in which authorities banned the admission of new monks as a Tibetan monastery, prohibited religious activities during the religious festivals in Lhasa, and forced residents to remove religious symbols displayed outside their homes. Whereas in 1989, His Holiness the Dalai Lama received the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his long-standing commitment to nonviolence, peace, and willingness to compromise and seek reconciliation despite China's brutal occupation of Tibet. And whereas in 2007, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was conferred the U.S. Congressional Gold Medal, on one of the highest civilian awards in recognition of his contribution to Tibet and humanity. And whereas the city of Richmond is home to a vibrant community of Tibetan Americans who have contributed to the diversity of our culture and tradition, and is the location of the Tibetan Association of Northern California's Community Center, serving the third largest Tibetan community in the United States. And whereas the city of Richmond stands in solidarity with the Tibetan people and their just, peaceful, and non-violent movement to remind the world of its occupation, suppression, and degradation of culture, religion, land, and identity of the Tibetan people by China. And whereas on Monday, March 9th, 2026, community members will gather at the steps of Richmond City Hall, as you have today, to raise the Tibetan flag for a week and to commemorate the 67th anniversary of the Tibetan national uprising against the Chinese Communist Party's invasion and occupation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Eduardo Martinez, will gather at the steps of the Richmond City Hall to raise the Tibetan flag for a week and to commemorate the 67th anniversary of the Tibetan uprising against the Chinese Communist Party's invasion and occupation. I'm sorry. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Eduardo Martinez, and the Richmond City Council do hereby declare March 10th, 2026 as Tibetan National Uprising Day in the city of Richmond. Thank you.